And let's see. Let's start with questions. Okay. So who has a question for me? Nathan, do you have a question?
Well, I'm just like, I just want to know where other people are at right now. Like,
a variety of places. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you'll hear from their questions, but we're all over the place.
Okay.
And it's very understandable given how we're trying to do this. So I would be concerned if we were this scattered and we were in class, but because we have to do it this way, there is a huge variety of where we are at. Some of that has to do with the fact that some of you have had a little bit of experience with InDesign before, and some of you have never ever opened it before. So that naturally makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You all have time to finish, regardless of where you're at. And so the best thing that you can do is all of you, regardless of where you're at, is make sure that you check the assignment paid for the requirements that you're supposed to try and do, and you hit that, and that you look at the links and everything that I've posted there for you. That 9 times out of 10 answers most questions that everyone has. Now, given that, you may try that and it still is unclear. And that makes sense to me as well. But we can have more of a conversation about it, even if it's unclear, if you've looked at those things in the first place. So that's going to be my first suggestion, that you all do that.
Okay.
Yeah, my second suggestion is, and I think you're all doing it, but it's kind of a reminder, is that on the Canvas site, make sure that you look at any announcements and things that come up there, because that's the quickest way for me to get out information to all of you. And of course, I have to do that for several classes and several groups. So for me to individually email right now is kind of hard. Normally, I like to do it that way, or of course, meet you in person. But the Canvas announcements is what I'm using to try to get most things out. The other thing that's confusing, I know, is that we're using 3 different things. Primarily, we're using Zoom, we're using Canvas, and we're still using our website as the main way to know what the requirements of the assignment are. So, you know, if we understand how we're kind of cobbling those together, what the purpose of each one is, I think that's important. I probably should have talked about this a little bit earlier, but honestly, I didn't really understand yet how that was going to work. But how it is working is that the assignment requirements are on the website. You turn things in, images of or upload that you would like me to look at through Canvas, and you also get announcements about a variety of things, not only this assignment, but other things through the announcements in Canvas. And then, and of course, we're using Zoom to hold class. So, and then the recordings from these sessions, if I remember to do them, and I am recording today, those I post on the Canvas within the announcements, and I typically date them. And I also try to put some kind of bullet points about the main things that we've talked about during that time together. So Nathan, would you like me to go to someone else first and then come back to you, or what?
Yeah, you can totally do that, because I've been focusing on like my other classes in like the recent couple of days, so I haven't been making like too much progress on this, but I've gotten like some stuff that I needed in, so I'll have more time now.
Okay, so that brings up another point that I mentioned. Oh, we got an echo here someplace. Okay, I'll try again here. So, and what was I going to say? Oh, yes. So because we're doing this in an oddball way, and because you have a variety of priorities that you're trying to meet with other classes, as well as other things, then because of those other priorities, and you need to prioritize. I get that, and I think all your teachers, especially those of us in the art department, are trying to work with you with that in mind. And so that's why our deadlines are kind of soft deadlines. And for me, that means, just making sure you get everything turned in by the end of the semester is basically the goal. So if that means in another class you need to focus on that now, that I get that, but I want to strongly urge you to all to continue to join these meetings. Because even if you aren't able to actually work on the piece right now, giving the meeting is important. So I've got some. Nate, are you muted? Maybe mute yours because we're getting some kind of feedback or something going on there. Are we good? Or did yours freeze? Looks like it froze. I'm going to try it this way. Okay, so I just muted everyone. I don't know. I think so. Just know that you're all muted now. You can unmute yourself when you. And I think Nathan's going to have to rejoin us. So, oh no, there we go. Maybe you just switched. Okay, so. Sorry. Hello. Does somebody else have a question for me? Jay, how are you doing?
I'm good. I was going to just go to my master page and pull it up because like when we were talking about the letting and so forth, yeah, that was one of the questions that I had. Okay.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
Yep. Let me see here. Okay. That one. Okay, so let's see here.
Okay. There's some little things I want to mention, but go ahead and ask what you wanted to ask first.
Mike, where's my?
I think you're on the bottom. You're on page 42, 43 at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
So click on the pages that you want to be on.
Well, let me just move this out the way. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to go to my master page, or.
Okay.
So okay. So I guess this is my master A.
The left. It's since your booklet is set up with facing pages.
Correct.
So you are currently on the left master page.
Correct.
So both the left and right will be the A masters. It's just the left and right version of that.
Okay, so obviously then they're blank. So then this is my first page here. So okay. I have this in here. I was trying to get my page numbers in, and you can see it's down there.
Did you do that on the master page?
I did.
Okay, let's go to your master page. Okay, so I don't see them there.
It's not there, no. So then this is where I would go to type, insert special characters, current page.
Excellent, yes. The only thing that's going to make it hard for you here is you have to first click with your text tool where you want that to be placed.
Oh, okay.
That's what's going on. But before you do that, let's go to page 1 because you have a number on there right now that we need to get rid of.
Oh, okay. So just delete that.
Yeah, take your, because you don't want that text box or anything. There you go.
I'm getting it, man. I'm starting to learn a little bit.
You are. Okay, so now you can just hit the delete key.
Okay.
All right. And do we have numbers on the other pages as well?
No, we don't.
Okay, perfect.
So
So
then
now
go
you can
back to
go
this
there,
master
right?
and then hit the text tool,
Yep.
create a little box there.
And just so you know, once you've created that text box with the special character page number in there, you can move that anywhere you want.
Okay, okay. Because, right, I just figured in the middle for now. That makes it easy.
Okay.
Okay. So, and we'll put a 1 there. Okay. Simple like that. Cool.
No,
All right.
no,
No. What's
no.
that? What?
You
Oh,
put it
because
in
I did it
special
that
character. So
number.
delete the
Right.
one.
All right. So then
Do what you were doing just a minute ago.
go into the text.
Yes. You've got the right tool. It's blinking there, waiting for you to insert a special character.
A
You were
special
doing it
character.
just a second ago.
I put a number in there.
No, don't type a number. You're going to put a special character. Delete that.
Oh, okay. I got you. Got you. Okay. Got you.
Go down one more to markers.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Current page.
There you go. Okay, and it's going to make an A because we're
Mhm.
on the A master. But you've typed a
Okay.
1 in there as well. That means every page will have a 1 and it will have the actual page number, and that's not what you want. So delete the 1.
Okay.
Now just hit the delete. Whoops. Command
I
Z.
gotta go.
Undo that. Okay. And now just hit the delete key back.
Yeah.
Huh, why is it? Well, why are you getting the 1 as also?
Right. Let me see if I was trying to
I mean,
move, or let's see. I can't move
let's just go ahead and delete that text box.
Okay.
Okay, now hit the delete key. Take your text tool and just click. Okay, and do insert special character. Perfect.
Yes, you
Hey,
see, but it still has that 1 there.
why are we getting the 1?
I don't know.
This is weird. This is not. Let's look on an since this is a left-hand page. Look on any left-hand page.
Hmm.
Click on any left-hand page. Yeah, it is putting in a 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go back to the master right page. Okay, and click down there.
It was
Click
text
on that
box.
page, sorry. Yeah, and there you go. And do insert special character. Okay. Why is it putting a 1 in?
I don't mean to interject, but could it be like a list that's like turned on or something? Like how you can make like a
It
list,
could
for
be,
example?
Yeah, it could be, Melanie. Thank you. Yeah, no, please
Yeah.
interject if any of you see something here more quickly than I am. So,
So in the layers or
Under
something?
type, yeah. Where
Under
type
type?
is at? Because like that might be like checked on where it says like bulleted and numbered lists.
Okay.
remove
Oh, remove numbers.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, very good, Melanie. So just do the same.
Thank you, Melanie. All
Yeah,
right.
you're
So
welcome.
did I email you for some help?
Love it.
No, I
Okay.
just like I was really curious about like what that was, so I went under type and I was like thinking maybe that might be the case.
Yeah.
Dang, see? that's stuff that I wouldn't even think of.
Yeah, and it would have been all day there with me. So go on the left-hand page and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The left-hand master.
And then, do I need to select it and undo it?
Just click. Okay, now go to under type and remove numbers.
Okay. Wow, good job, Melanie.
Yeah. So now go out to any one of your spreads and let's see if it's numbered correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay. Now, while we're here,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what you're going to, so now you've got it, you did the correct mechanics
Mm-hmm.
to get it there, right? So the next
Yes.
step is going to be designing it. Just like you've got the text up above,
Mm-hmm.
you have the story in there, but you're going to have to apply typography or design it now, right?
Correct.
It's true about the look and the placement of the page number, which is only one part of the folio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you decide what that folio is going to look like. That's the design part. The major thing is you do not want the page number in the folio to look similar to the text that's in the story because it's different
Right.
material, right? So remember the rule of thumb I gave us was if it's different kind of information, treat it differently.
So that will be changed in the master font, though. Say again.
Where you just were on the master page.
Right. That's what I mean.
And then you can type in other things like you had a 1 in there a minute ago. That 1's going to appear on every page. Let's say you wanted a dash in front and on either side of the page number. If you put that in on either side of the A,
that was under the glyphs, right?
Well, you could just make a dash, but you could put a glyph as well. It could be a glyph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Question: in some of the stories they have, I guess because it was online advertisements, we can delete that out, right?
Sorry?
It'll just say like advertisement in the story, like I guess from it being online.
Oh, because you're using different stories. Yes, no, we only want the story, you're right. Just the copy of the story. Meaning the story itself.
Right. Okay, got it.
Oh, it was my presumption that was a part of the story. Was that not?
Do you have, which story are we talking about here?
That's the Daughters of the Moon.
Daughters of the Moon.
I was thinking, okay, yes, that is a part of the story.
I have that in here.
Wouldn't we keep those then?
Yes, you would keep it then.
Okay.
Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you meant you had decided to choose a different story off the internet that had an advertisement in it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much, so this is where I am. I have them in here, and then let me see, I can probably see if I can pull that up. File, open.
What are you trying to open?
Open recent. The cover.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it said in the instructions that it should be a separate whatever.
Yes, but the cover, yeah, you're totally right with that, and so you've given it another kind of name, a more provocative name for the actual title, and you've given it a subtitle, and you've said edited by yourself. So yes, that's good. The only
now would this be on the inside pages of the book, since we're not doing a cover now, or so what should be preceding the actual story?
Well, first of all, we are doing a cover.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so the cover has 5 panels, like a dust jacket.
Okay.
Okay, that's going to be the best way for us to go here on our books, is to have a dust jacket. So that's our cover. That'll have 5 panels. We'll have the front, like we're currently looking at. We'll have the back, but it'll also have the spine, and it'll have the two flaps that fold around.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this document, if we do in InDesign, then we simply have to make a single page that is much longer, and then depending upon the size of your pages and the spine, the thickness, then you divide it up. That's why we usually don't make the cover until later, and it is also why it's a separate document.
Okay.
Okay, because
Okay,
yeah. So let's say, for example, that your page. Well, let's do. What is the width of your pages?
I
Is it 5.5?
think so. Let's see.
Did you do letter half?
Yes,
Okay,
letter half.
so your pages are 5.5 inches wide then. So
Okay.
that means this cover document will be 5.5 inches for the front, which we're currently looking at, plus 5.5 inches more for the back cover, plus, let's say, an inch for the spine, plus 3 inches on the front flap and 3 inches on the back flap. Okay? So my total
Right.
document now is going to be
18.
18, correct. And then what you do is you just put guides in there where they indicate the change from a front panel to a spine and the spine to the back panel and so forth. Okay?
Got you. That
But I
makes
was
sense.
just guessing on the thickness right now because we don't know. We don't know how many pages you're going to have total. Everybody's going to have a different number of pages.
Correct.
Okay? So
Oh,
this
that
is
was
fine here for right now. I'd hold off on it for the moment though, okay?
okay. So question. So as I'm doing my paragraph design,
Yeah.
so say on this page, I'm not going to start it at the very, or say at the beginning of this story. Let's see, in seeing the perfect girl. So I'm not going to start it all the way at the top here. Like, so the title might, will be somewhere up here, but then the actual paragraphs are going to come down as I do that, and it moves out of my text box.
Uh-huh.
Will I need to add a page, or will it automatically just kind of go to the next page?
If there's a little red box at the click, what I want to try to do is see if I can take control of your screen for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Did you get a message from me right there?
Yeah, I just did it.
Okay. So I don't know if you say okay or whatever.
I said, yeah, I approved. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is if I click on this text box, and right now, see, that's not red.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it is threaded from page 1 over here to page 2.
Correct.
Now we're going to test that out. So I'm going to lower this. I think of them like window shades. So I'm going to bring it down maybe into here someplace. So that
Okay.
should push the text that was on this page over to here. And if you noticed, this stuff moved a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When I just did that, that means it reflowed the text over here.
Okay.
So that's what it's supposed to do. So you did that correctly. If it
Okay.
didn't, then what we would have to do is probably delete all of these, come back to the very first page, click on the red box, go to page 2, click, then at the bottom of page 2, click, and run it to, rethread. But I don't.
So questions. So since you have control of it, so I'm pointing, say, on would the best way to move that title and author's name, would it the best way to be to highlight it and then
Yeah, let's do that.
move it like that? Okay.
Okay, so first of all, what I need to have, of course, are my character styles.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to have my, you got them both out here right here. So I'm going to separate them for the moment.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like you started to make one, but then you accidentally altered it because it's got a plus sign after it.
Mm-hmm.
And just because it's called basic paragraph, that's not very helpful because you're going to have 4 or 5, if not more, paragraph styles here. And if you've got something called normal and something called basic paragraph, it's going to be confusing in the end. So you always want to title things a little more descriptively, not only here, but everywhere. You know,
Yeah,
like
I didn't even,
layers.
I may have opened it, but I didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, okay, so let's,
So it's just probably saved like that.
so what I'm going to do so that we, I've got it selected here. Actually, what I want to do is delete it, but I don't know why I don't have this. What's this one? Okay, so back to your question now. So one of the things I wanted to get rid of was that plus, because that plus happens when we create a style, and then later we accidentally change something in it from the regular type choices, and we don't want to do that. We want to make all the editing from adjusting the style. That's a hard one to start getting in the habit of doing, but know that that's our goal. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So back to changing this to a look that we want. So it makes sense that you know, I don't know what I want it to be here yet, but I need a either a paragraph style for the title, or I like to make the style for the title not in a paragraph style, but as a character style. I think it's a lot easier to deal with.
That makes more sense too.
Yeah. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make a new character style.
Okay.
Okay, so here it is. I'm going to open it up, and now I'm going to name it something. So I'm going to call it title. Okay, and then here, when I click on basic character formats, now essentially it looks exactly the same as the text controls, right? But because I'm going to make those changes here, so that's a part of the style, and I can apply it to the other, in this case, other 4 stories.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason for doing it as
yes.
You'll be able just to select and click once you've set this up. So I'm going to give us an example. So I think I am. So let's, I'm going to do is,
that title is kind of classic, so something kind of a romantic classic type style.
Yeah, you're going to be able to change it around. I'm just going to do something.
Okay.
Okay. And I picked one that I thought I'd have some choices in fonts, and I do. So I'm going to make them condensed Bodoni, and I'm going to make the size larger. Let's go 48. And let's make it small caps. And tracking, we're going to open up a little bit more and say, okay. All right, nothing happened because I haven't applied it. Okay.
Oh.
So now I've only made the style. I've defined it here, but I haven't applied it to anything.
Okay.
So to apply it, I just simply, since it's a character style, I have to highlight what I want to apply it to, because I could want to apply this to one letter only, or however many letters I want. In this case, I want the entire title. So I'm going to select all of this and then click on the title character style. Come on, come on, no, don't do that. There we go. Okay, so obviously this changed quite a bit, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we do that and then we decide, oh, that's much larger than I anticipated it being, or the leading is too wide, or whatever. So now I don't even have to have this selected at this point. I simply go back to the character style, double click it so that it will open up, and in its controls, I'm going to say instead of 48 point, let's go down to maybe 30 point. And the leading, I'm going to guess on this here, I'm going to say 36. And I'm going to say, okay. And okay, and see now I didn't have anything selected, but because I had applied this style to those words, then it
It
changed.
automatically did it.
Exactly. So what you do now is you tweak this until, and I would say I still want closer leading on the title. So let's do one more version. We'll go back in here, basic character styles, and let's change this
To
to
like 24.
24. Yeah. See what that looks like. Yeah, so now I've got a closer leading on that, and I can see what this is. Now, if I want to really get a sense of what's going on, if I go down here to the bottom of the tools, and I change the view, there we go, and go to preview, we'll go to here. And preview lets me see it without any guides. And presentation will show no guides, but also all of your toolbox and everything, they will disappear as well. So that's a way to just kind of check what's going on. So at this point, I want to go back to my working view. This is going to come up faster.
So question, so when you were talking about the leading for the story in itself, that will be done in a paragraph style as well under the basic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So let's look at paragraphs.
And so, okay, question. Yeah, because since I already have that in all the text in there, would I have to highlight all that to?
No.
So okay,
yeah. For a paragraph style, you just click in the paragraph. So the main paragraph styles that you need here are the first paragraph, which has a version of diminuendo, and then you have a story paragraph. Okay.
You said in a story paragraph?
Yeah, the story.
Okay.
You can call it whatever you want. I call it the story paragraphs. You can call it something else, as long as it has meaning. So, but to do the first paragraph style with diminuendo, I have to create two character styles first. I have to create a character style for the very first letter, and I have to create a character style that I'm going to apply to the next couple of words before I get into the actual thing. All right, so I have to create character styles first. So I'm going to go down here and say, create a new character style. So here it is. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to call it initial letter. Okay, and then I'm going to go again. I go to my controls here and decide what I want it to be. So I'm going to stick with Bodoni for the moment, but I'm going to make it bold, regular, so that we can see something different. I certainly don't want it the same size as the title, but larger than its regular size. So let's see. It doesn't like the remote control here. I'll go to 14, I guess, and we'll say okay. So that's going to be my first initial letter. Then I'm going to create another style. Then I'm going to call diminuendo. And that one, the basic character formats, we're going to say this one is going to be regular, small cap. Oh, I didn't necessarily want the other one to be small caps. That's okay. And I'm going to go to maybe 12 point. And since I'm going to small caps on this one, I think I'm going to go back to bold. So this is all guesswork right now. I don't know if this is going to be a good look or not, but I've created a style.
Right.
All right. Now, I also need to go and create a paragraph style called first paragraph. So we're back up here. New paragraph style. Double click that guy open. Okay, and we're going to
Space.
we're going to call this first paragraph.
Okay.
Okay, and in there, we're going to go down to the basic character formats. And right now, notice it already came up with the last things that I had on there. And I don't want that, so I need to change this back to normal. I'm going to keep the point size the same, I believe. I'm going to change this to regular. And we need the leading. I didn't change the leading before, so I think the leading's going to be off on both of these, but let's go 18. And okay, now when I come down here to drop caps and nested styles, this is where I'm going to embed or nest those character styles that I created a second ago. Okay, so I'm going in here. There we go. And so I want my drop cap to drop down into the text. Let's go 2 lines, 1 letter. Which character style am I going to apply to it? I'm going to apply the initial letter style. Okay?
Okay.
Then I have a new nested style down here that is going to be the diminuendo that I'm going to apply through, let's go 3 words. Again, I'm guessing. Okay? And I say, okay. And now I click in the paragraph that is the first paragraph and apply the first paragraph style. Okay? So now I can see what that's looking like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not too bad. The main thing is I did not take off the tracking.
What would the tracking do? What's that?
Well, see how widely spaced it is here?
Oh,
The tracking that I put on the title.
oh, okay.
So I didn't take that off. So I'm going to, yeah.
So it's not so spaced out. Gotcha.
Exactly. So all I do is go, and I don't even have to be clicked in there because I've already applied the style to it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the first paragraph, open it up, and basic character formats, and the tracking, we're going to change back to, remember I said opening the tracking up to 5 is usually a good thing. So I'm going to just go to 5 and say, okay. All right, so that's better, right? Now this leading here is at 18. The leading down here that you have here is something else.
That's not set up yet. So that's what we would do. That's for the basic paragraph.
Yeah, and
Okay.
yes, and right now we're just kind of, like I said, I'm guessing, we're just trying for a look. We're doing it, what we could say, intuitively. So, and see the leading right here now is still the default leading, which, makes sense. So what we need to do is change the leading to at least the next whole even number. Well, I even went above that. The next whole even number would have been 16, right? 14.4. The next highest whole even number would be 16. But I can go as many above that as I want, as long as it's an even number, because I want to keep the math simple.
And now you're talking. This is for on the April morning, on One Beautiful April. Is that what character you're talking about?
I'm talking about the leading.
Right. Okay.
So the leading right now is 14.4.
Oh, on that
I
whole
want to change
first paragraph.
that leading to be at least the next whole even number, and that would be 16. Well, you just saw me make this one 18. Okay, so, and I needed to look in here to see what that default was. So, so on here, we would make another paragraph style Yeah, so let's do that. So we'll call another paragraph style here. This one. So this we'll call story paragraph. Okay, and it's based on. We're going to change this to be based on the first paragraph, so we don't have to change as much stuff. And then we're going to look in here, and we'll see that those things now are already in here for us. So we just need to change a few things. See, and notice it already gave us the 18 points of leading.
Mm-hmm.
It already made the tracking 5, already made the point size 12 and regular. So actually we're okay here. We don't have to change anything. So we just say okay.
Okay.
And now, right at the moment, oh, sorry.
We didn't change the leading.
We did, but we forgot to take off the embedded character styles.
Oh.
So we go back here, open that guy back up again, and down under drop caps, nested styles, we don't want this going on. So we don't want a character style in there. So we're going to say none. And down here, yeah, there we go. So this needs to be none. And up here, this is going, oops, wrong way.
That and then the 3 words needs to be taken off too, because it's just going to be the story paragraph.
Okay, so we took off those embedded character styles for the initial letter and diminuendo. So now we have a story-looking paragraph that's based on this one with minus the embedded character style. So that would be a normal thing to do. Okay, so what you would then do is go to page 2. And if this is this all just one story right now?
No, it's like 3 of them in there.
Okay, so I can't, it's not allowing me to scroll easily, but you could click at the beginning of page 2 and then go down to your last page, hold the shift key down and click there, and it would select all of that text, and you could just simply apply the story paragraph to it.
Okay.
It would all be there. Now the other thing is we haven't set up the grid yet. We now know that the leading is 18 points. So you just need to make your baseline grid an 18-point grid.
Wait, can you say that again?
You're just going to make the baseline grid 18 points because that's what your leading is.
Okay, now that was something I had written down, but what does that affect the baseline grid? Or you're
using a grid to help line things up.
Okay, so you're saying right here, close to where my arrow is, this 18.
Well, go ahead and I'm going to give the screen back to you here. Stop and control it. Okay, so you should have the driver's seat again.
Okay, so you're talking about like right here, this the 18.
No, that's just on a ruler. That's just 18 inches.
Oh, so
we're making a grid.
Okay, so let's see here. Let's go back up here.
So go to your master pages.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. And now under InDesign.
Wait.
Yeah, go under InDesign.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you're on a PC. So you're under File, I think.
File.
We're looking for preferences.
You know, I was looking for that earlier today and I could not find it because I had some stuff.
It's under Edit. It's at the bottom of Edit.
Yeah, next one over.
Okay.
And then go to Preferences.
Did I pass it?
I think it's
okay, there it is. Okay.
I don't see it.
I got it. Preferences. Now, it was the very last thing on there.
Oh, okay. It's just not showing up on my screen. Okay. Yeah, you're good. Now go to grids. That's correct.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know. I just stopped there. Okay.
Okay. So now your grid right now says it starts at 3p0 or 3 pica 0 points. You want to change that to say 0. And then say from the top of the margin.
Instead of
Yeah.
top of page. Okay.
Okay. And then in increments, we want that to be the same as your leading. Your leading is 18.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the baseline grid. Now we want to make the document grid the same thing. So we
We'll
want
save this. Oh, okay. Okay. Document grid.
so the grid line we want to be every 18 points. And that would be 1p4, 12 points to a pica. So one pica. One
see.
pica.
Oh. Okay. Because you
And
lost
one
me with the
pica,
math
4
we were doing.
points. Put 4 instead of 0.
In 1.4.
1 pica, 4 points. That's what that says.
Okay.
Because that is a total of 18 points. There are 12. No, sorry, wait. Well, I'm not adding correctly here. 12 points are in a pica, so that's 1 pica. That takes up 12 of them. We need 6 more, so it's 1p6.
Okay. Oh, okay. Instead of
Okay, and you do the same thing over on the vertical side.
okay.
Okay, and then subdivisions are 1. Okay, and then okay that. Okay, now when you come out here, we need to see the grid. So under view.
This one, right? Yeah. View option.
Go under view.
Okay. Oh, under view. My bad. Yeah.
Okay,
All
and
right.
come down to grids and guides. There we go. And where it says show baseline grid, go down and do that one. You'll see the key command there is Control Alt, okay, and plus, and then go there again and show the document grid. It didn't take there for some reason. There we go. And now go back and do the baseline grid. The baseline grid isn't out there yet. There we go. All right. So now you can see the actual grid. And if we go to a page that has, go to that first page. Okay, and so you would want to move the text so the baselines of the text fall on the grid. Now you can see that the bottom 3 lines do of the actual story, but the ones above don't. And that's because the space or leading between the paragraphs is not a multiple of your baseline grid. So that's something that we have to go back in to your paragraph styles and change the space after to be either 18 or 36, you know, that kind of thing, so that when you hit the return, it will put the next paragraph exactly
on the grid.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you're saying probably from the first from on this page, the title, like making sure that's on the grid line, and then everything else will fall in line.
Yes. So remember, we were doing this first intuitively, just to find something we kind of liked.
Right.
Okay, and if you've heard me say before, that's the way I think you should work, is work in the order that we're doing it here. Now, I'm not positive. The look that we have is exactly what we want, but that's the order that you would do things in.
Mm-hmm.
So you first do it, make through the styles, create a look that you like, then make sure the leading is a whole even number, then make the grids based on that, then come back here and see what isn't on the grid. So now we're using the grid to fine tune what the look. We're not going to be making dramatic changes here. We're just going to fine tune them so things do fall in the grid, which means everything will have an even better harmony between all the parts.
So say even if, so looking at this, if on seeing the 100 perfect, that O is moved up to the next grid line. Now, just saying, just hypothetically, if we move that up, so then that will put everything in line. But then, what was my question?
Well, it's not going to put everything online.
Oh,
So
okay.
what you want to do is start from the top and work down. So you take the on seeing the 100% perfect, that line, you put that baseline on a grid line.
Right.
So go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You're going to move with your arrow.
Oh, just select.
Yes. And just no. Just have it selected. Okay, it's selected now. Now use your keys on your keyboard. Your up arrow.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. You're on it. Okay, so the first line is there. But Girl, One Beautiful April, and Morning and so forth are not, right? Nothing else is on there. So what we want to do is adjust the leading so that it will work. Now, remember I said the subdivisions were at 1? Let's go back to the grids and make the subdivisions 2.
On the grid, so that's under edit, or no? Oh, preferences, yeah. Grid. Okay, learning. I like this.
Okay, now make your subdivisions 2.
Okay.
Okay, and okay that. All right, we got an extra line, right? We got their main grid lines.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Another one. So what this is telling us is we can have multiples of the leading, or we can have even divisions of the leading. And so usually I don't like to go more than half the leading, but in some cases, if you've got some really tiny type, like for captions or something, you might go a third. So then I would make the grid, instead of 2 subdivisions, I'd say 3 subdivisions in that case, but I'd never go more than that. So now what we're getting is, you can see the first line is on the grid, but again, nothing else is on the grid yet, but it means that we can open the leading on the title a little bit at a time, and it'll force everything down. So what you want to do is open up the title character style.
Wait, so that's going to be in my first paragraph, right?
No, open up the title character style. You've got 2 windows there. You've got paragraph styles open and character styles open. You're going to open up the title character style.
Oh, okay. Got it.
There you go. Okay, so open that up. Don't change the name of it. Just open it up. Click on the blue part of it.
Got it.
Okay, very good.
Basic characters format.
Okay, and we want leading. So, okay, so move this window over to the side so that you can actually see your page behind it.
Okay.
We'll just move it over to this. Okay, and oops, before you do that, though, we need to be able to click the little preview box in the lower left-hand corner. And you might have to move it back on the page for a sec.
This one here, this.
Move your window back to the right a little bit. Move the whole window. You just moved it to the left, move it back to the right.
Like there, that's cool. Oh, okay. So
No.
you're talking about just to be able to see this here, right?
The preview button that's in the lower left-hand corner. Click on that.
Right.
No.
Okay.
In the box, in the window that we're in.
Oh, okay.
There you go. All right. Now you can slide it over. Okay. So for leading, on the up and down arrows there, yeah, click click the down arrow, I think. No, it's going to be better to go up. Hit the up arrow. And again, and one more time. Oh, back one.
Yeah.
Yes, that was, and it almost, it kind of does it, but what we need is, we didn't control any leading for the byline. And so you can see how this is making it work, right?
Yes.
So if we just looked at the title, then the first line of the title, the words "on seeing the 100% perfect," that one is good to go. The second line is on the half grid line.
Oh.
And then the third line down is back almost on the grid. It needs a little tweaking, but it's almost on it, right?
Because the blues are the grid lines you're talking about, the blue line.
Those are the baseline. That's the main, those are the main grid lines, yes. And the gray ones are the half ones that were created when you went back in and said 2 subdivisions.
Right.
Okay, so they are halfway between the main ones. And we did that so that we can make things work on the grid that just work on subdivisions of the grid, because they can also work on multiples of the grid. You know, okay, right. So what you would still need to do here is make a paragraph style for the byline, a character style, sorry, a character style for the byline.
Okay.
You need to do that. So I'm going to, we're not going to do this right now, but I'm going to tell you what you're going to do, and then you're going to try to do this stuff on your own, okay?
Now, what's the byline? What do you mean? You said...
This is by Haruki. This is the byline.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. All right. So you said I'm going to need to make a character style for that, or a paragraph style?
Just write the stuff down on pencil and paper for right now.
Okay. So a character style for the byline.
Okay. And when you make that character style, you're going to want to adjust its leading, or, yeah, adjust its leading so that, again, it's probably 18.
Okay.
But then in the character style, no, you have to do it as a paragraph style. I'm sorry, because we need to create space before or space after, and you can't do that in a character style. So you're going to make a paragraph style of the byline, and then you're going to you'll see in there in the controls on the left-hand side of the paragraph style, there'll be indents and spacing will be one of your options, and when you click on that, then you'll have controls for creating space before.
Now, what was it called again? I'm sorry, I was still writing that. So in for the create paragraph style for the byline, and then go into what?
You're going to go into the controls for the paragraph style.
Okay.
One of the controls that you'll see on the left-hand side, like currently we're looking at the character style options, and we see that blue box, we've got a bunch of options there, right? You see that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so when you open the paragraph style called the byline, you'll see a bunch of options on the left in a blue box as well. One of the options
Okay.
over there that you will see is called indents and spacing. You're going to want to click on that and look for the option that says space before and space after. The one that says for space before, you're going to put in probably 9 points because it's half the 18 leading.
Okay.
Okay, and so we're going to try that first, and that should move the byline down onto the grid. And then puts in the space after, put 18. So the space before says 9, half the leading, and the space after is going to be 18. All right. Then you're going to
now,
do
but wait. So that's so you're saying that it would actually move the by Heroku, whatever, like move it so it's not sitting directly under, or I mean, I know we're trying to get it on the grid line.
Yeah. So it's just going to move it down. The leading is
Oh,
going to move it down.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that we want the
But I
amount.
thought that was under the indent, though.
No, that's not an indent.
Okay.
It's leading.
Oh, indents and leading. Okay. Okay.
The control is called indents and spacing.
Okay.
We're not going to do anything with the indent. We're not indenting anything here.
Okay.
What we do want to do is increase the leading.
Increase the leading. Okay.
So that's where we put it on the, I mean, you can see it. We want to move the byline down, right?
Right. Okay. So yeah, I see where you're talking about the leading right there, like say under this character style that's up. Okay.
Paragraph style.
Got it.
Okay, so because we want to move it down a little bit.
Correct.
And we want all your other, go ahead and close the character style box.
Oh, just close it like that, huh?
No, not there. The one that you have open. Just close that box.
Trying to get it up so I can see it. Okay.
Okay, so the other issue here is you can see that the amount of space between paragraphs isn't a multiple of your leading, right?
Okay.
Because the second paragraph there isn't on the grid.
Correct.
Okay, so what we need to do in both the first paragraph style and and the story paragraph style, you need to go to that same location that says space after and put in 18 points.
In the leading.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And then everything will be on the grid. Now, this is assuming this is the look that you want.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna just go with that. I'm gonna just go with it. Make it easy on myself. Yes, I have been needing some help like this. So, all right, I have a lot to work with now. I definitely have a lot to work with.
We have one more issue. Zoom out so that we can, and click on your master pages.
Okay.
Okay, and zoom out a little bit. You can close the paragraph styles, character styles windows if you want.
Okay.
Okay, you can see that the grid is there, but the columns do not fall on the grid, right?
They're too small.
No, that's okay. I mean,
okay.
Right? You can see that the columns are not on the grid.
Correct.
Okay, so we need to make them so that they are, and we also need to adjust the margins just a little bit. So you've got very wide margins on the inside, and the bottom and top I think are okay.
I did like 5 points on the inside and 3 on the outside, and then 6 and 9, top and bottom.
3, 5, 6, and 9. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Wait. 3, 5, 6, and 9. It'd be 3. Wait a minute. 5, 6, 7. So 3 is your 1.
3 is my 1, and that's
2 is 6. 3 is 9. So 1 is so you should have 3 picas on the outside, correct?
correct. 3 on
Actually,
the outside.
let's take a look at that. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. We first need to see the result of what you've got, because you're trying to apply it correctly. There's some little things that are not quite there yet, and we have to see it first. So the idea is that the margins on the inside are really wide. They don't need to be that wide. And
Thinking that they needed, that was a good width because of the fold.
yes, but that happens. It doesn't need to be that wide. And you're not going to have a book that's an inch thick.
Okay. Okay.
Well, actually, you might have a book that's an inch thick, but not wider than that.
Okay.
So, actually, let's not complicate things. Let's just let's stay there. But let's just adjust things to the grid. So, if you look under layout, actually, we need to zoom in a little bit closer because we're going to be moving these by tiny amounts. So if you can use your magnifying glass there too. But that works. Okay. So now go to layout, margins, and guides.
Okay. Margins and columns, right? Okay.
Margins and columns. And so we're going to adjust see the outside margin looks like it's right on the grid, right? And the bottom one does as well. But the inside margins are not falling on the grid, nor are the gutters between the columns. So let's first adjust the inside columns. There you go. And let's make the inside, just click on the up and down arrows because we're just going to move it a little bit.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I had that 5. So now.
Okay. And
did it move? I was I was doing the arrow, but I didn't see the grids move at all.
I didn't either. And click adjust layout.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It did just move now.
Try clicking that inside margin number. There you go.
Is it moving it?
Yes, it is. Okay, you want
okay. I see. Like on the up here on the
you're on the left hand side.
Page. Correct. Okay.
So back it up just a little bit more.
That way.
Maybe one more. Okay, so that's 4
Am I tripping? So okay, so you're talking about.
We're doing the left-hand page. So now let's adjust the gutter space over there, and let's make the gutter space. We know that the grid is 18 points, right? So just make this 18 points, or 1p6.
Okay. Yeah, see, I wouldn't have known. Even though we did that earlier, I'd have been like,
okay,
what?
Click in one of your other boxes.
What do you mean?
Just click in a margin box or something. Here we go. Okay, so see how that looks? See, it's with the grid. Everything's falling on the grid now.
On the left-hand page.
On the left-hand page. So you need to do exactly the same thing in the right-hand page. And the easiest way to do that is look at your numbers and just type in those same numbers when you have the right master page selected. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and do some of those things.
Okay.
All right? And I'm gonna see what other questions the other folks have, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Very good. Don't forget to save.
Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. And then you need to unshare your screen.
Okay. Stop share. Got it.
Okay. Very good, Jay. You're moving along there.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was very helpful.
Okay,
All
good.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Does somebody else have a question?
I have a question when it comes to the paragraph styles.
Okay.
As I was like adjusting it for my story, well, I'm still doing it for the first one, but I noticed that it made the text look like it's more like lighter, and I'm not understanding why.
Do you want to share your screen?
Sure.
Nice start. Yeah, it does look lighter, doesn't it? Looks like it's gray.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's, in fact, it is gray. If I look over in the T fill box on the far left, it's gray. Okay, so let's open your paragraph style for the story paragraph and go down to character color. There we go. And it says black. Oh, but the tint, it's at 70%. Change it to 100%.
Yeah. Because that was for the initial letter.
This is but we're in the paragraph style right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want the one color, or excuse me, the one initial letter to be lighter, we have to do that in the character style.
It's like I'm noticing like the plus sign and how like that's like if you make a single change and
Yeah, so at some point, well, if we're making, so we're in character styles now, so that's going to apply to a single letter or anything that you've highlighted.
okay.
So on paragraph styles, open up. So I don't see it in a first paragraph here.
I had a bit of trouble with that because like it made like the first letter of every paragraph like the same as like the one that had a drop cap.
The reason it's doing that is you need two different paragraph styles. One for the first paragraph only, and the other paragraphs have a different paragraph style, like I just did with Jay.
Okay.
Okay, so it's possible that your story paragraph, that's why the plus is in there.
Yeah.
Because you, I think if you click on the very first paragraph, that's probably a story paragraph as well. Yeah, and see there's no plus there. And what you did is on the second paragraph and probably all the rest of them, you took the initial letter off, but it was still the story paragraph, and you don't want to do it that way. So what you should do is create a new paragraph style. Okay, and call it story paragraph or something like that. Okay, and then open up its controls. And we're going to base this on your first one. No, not the story is what you just are making. You're going to base it on your first paragraph style, which in this case is called what? Basic paragraph? Is that what you called it?
I don't think I have one for that.
On the very first paragraph?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Then cancel this. Okay, so let's open up. Oh, now we've got story and story paragraph going. All right. what we need to have is I don't care what you call it. I tend to call the first paragraph style first paragraph, very direct. And then I tend to call any other paragraph style for the story, I call it story paragraph. So you can use those names or you can use something else, but we do need to have two different paragraph styles. Okay?
Okay.
The first paragraph style has what creates the diminuendo is embedding two character styles. One that makes the first letter look the way you want it to look, and one which controls how the next few words look. And so that's what we just did with J.
Okay.
Okay? And then, so if you do that, so the order to do this stuff in, make the two character styles first, then make the first paragraph style and embed or nest those character styles, then make the story paragraph style, and where just a minute ago I said if we want to base it on the first paragraph, because it just makes it easier.
Okay.
Okay, so does that make sense, Melanie?
Yeah.
Okay, so now and then the basic look that you're going for here, I think you're going in the right direction with and you may not have had a chance to work on it yet. The only thing that's not fitting into this hierarchy diminuendo thing yet is the title and the byline. So those don't seem more important than, you want the title to be the most important thing, and the byline groups with it. And then we get into the large initial letter, which says, as a signal, start the story here, and then we transition into the story. That's basically the concept behind all this business. But right now, the look that you have basically started from the O in the word one, from that point down, you're kind of going in the right direction. But the title, it's very possible you just haven't had a chance to work on it yet. But you should see visually that it doesn't work with everything else yet. Now, it's not because the typeface. It can be a sans serif typeface. It's just that its visual presence is very weak compared to the O and the NE beautiful April morning, right?
Yeah. But it could still be a sans serif, right?
It can be any typeface you want, but you just have to adjust the combination so that the hierarchy that is represented by whatever you do says that the title's the most important thing, and then the other things fall below that. In you know what I mean by hierarchy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it falls in that visual hierarchy. And right now, it should be apparent to you that the title is not reading as the most important thing. It doesn't seem, the hierarchy is not higher than the one beautiful April morning. So you just did a slice there, I think. I don't know how you did that. What tool have you got here? Either your screen is just not redrawing itself correctly, or you were creating like a slice for a website or something. I think it was just a screen. Good. Okay. So the first step you should do, again, is create a paragraph, a character style called initial letter, a separate character style called diminuendo, then make a paragraph style called first paragraph, and nest those two character styles inside of it. Then, after that's done, make the story paragraph, which you can now base its look on the first paragraph's look. You're just going to delete the two embedded or nested character styles out of the story one.
Okay.
Because that essentially lets you duplicate what you've already done and just delete the things that you don't want there. And then, of course, you have to apply it. So you click in a paragraph and select what you want to look that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that the way you got the look, since you didn't have a first paragraph style or a style applied there, I think what you did, but I'm not sure here, is just selected the words and changed them.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just pretty much it.
Yeah, so don't do it that way. Go into your paragraph style, make the adjustments there, and then apply it. And then if you don't like it, you change the style. You just saw me do that with J's.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's kind of, and when we first start working with InDesign, that's a little weird because every other program, we've gotten used to the routine of, well, if I want to change the way a letter looks or a word looks, I simply go to the type controls and change it. The difference here is that InDesign is all about how do you do this more quickly when you've got a whole bunch of pages and a whole bunch of stories to do this with. If you didn't do it through the styles, you would have to do what you did on this one, in this case, 5 times. If you do it through the style, you do it once and then simply apply it. Let's say that later the author comes back or the publisher comes back and you think you're done, and the publisher says, oh, sorry, we've decided to add 5 more stories to the book. Well, if you've got the styles already created, you can take care of that in half an hour. If you don't have the styles created, it's going to take you 2 days again. And so that's why it's so important to learn what these styles do. Okay, so let's do a version of this. We're not going to save it. You're going to click on the second paragraph because I'm pretty sure you're not alone in it. Okay, you're going to click on the second paragraph, and we're going to create a new paragraph style, and we're going to call it test first paragraph. Okay, very good. And oh, and we forgot to create the characters. So go ahead and OK it. And in the character style window, in the character style window, okay, do test first letter. Okay, and now under the character format, so whoops, open that guy up again. And on the left-hand side, second one down, click on that, and that will look exactly like what we're used to. So you're going to change, pick the type, pick any typeface, it doesn't matter, and make the letter bigger and maybe bold or something. You know, just put something on there. So where it says font family, just pick a typeface. I'm not sure what are we doing. All you have to do is under font, where it says font family, click the arrow to the right of it and pick a typeface. Talk to me, Melanie. I'm not sure why.
I chose one.
Sorry?
I chose one.
Where?
Here.
I don't see it.
It's called Sophia Pro.
Why is it not showing up? Oh, you're doing it out there. This is the problem. Again, we make the changes in the character style, in the style. Don't do it outside of the style. There we go. Okay, now we've got bold, and then pick size for it. Okay, that's good enough. And go ahead and OK it. So now we've defined the look for a first letter, which we can change. We have a defined one. Let's make another character style. Okay, and title that one test diminuendo. Okay, and open it up. And then under basic character formats in this style, make some choices here. So notice it kept what you put for the first letter. So we want something smaller probably and not as bold, or maybe take bold off. Okay, and say okay. All right, now let's go back to our test paragraph style, first paragraph style. Okay, and open that guy up. Okay, and so down under drop caps and nested styles. There we go. And so we need that first character style. That's what we want to select there now because it's there for our choice. So test first letter. That's that character style. And how many lines do we want to make this letter? There you go. All right. And then down under new test nested style. There we go. Okay. And this is going to be diminuendo. Oh, sorry, test diminuendo. And, you know, put it on 3 words. Okay. Now, all right. So now that's applied to that second paragraph, right?
Yeah.
Okay, as a test. Now click on the third paragraph down. Okay, so it's clicked there. And we are going to create a test story paragraph style. Okay, and based on our test first paragraph, okay, and then down under drop caps and nested styles, take those off. Okay, and then lines to zip to. Okay, all right, and then the test diminuendo, take that one off as well. Okay, and say okay. And now, and we've got test story there. Okay, so see how that worked?
Yeah.
Okay, in the order. Now that you have it applied, you can say whether you like the effect or not. If we don't like the effect, it's very easy to change up. So let's say, I don't want the M to be that big, or the first letter to be that big. So you simply open up the character style, or it's 2 ways. We're going to open up the paragraph style first. And instead of, and look at first paragraph, or test one, yeah, and oops, we're clicked in that other paragraph. So click back on test story. You just applied it to the third paragraph. There you go. Click in that one. And okay, and under drop caps and nested styles. And actually, let's move the window over to the side, because now that it's applied, we can see the effect when you make changes here. Yeah, and so like, let's say 2 lines deep. There you go. Okay, so now you can see it, and you can then, and then the other nested style below, let's say that you wanted that small caps or something else, so you can make that change right here and see the effect of it. Once you've got the look that you want, that's your style. And then you can apply that with a single click on any first paragraphs throughout the rest of the book. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and save so that you have the test ones to help you do the ones that you actually want. But let me repeat this for everyone, because again, I don't think you're alone. Jay had the similar questions. So let me do this one again, because I'm not going to be able to go through every single step of this for all of you. So if you are having this particular issue, let me go through it. I'll go through it, and actually maybe unshare your screen, Melanie, so that I can see everybody, those of you that I can see. So the steps, again, for this are to first create the character styles. And you're going to create a character style called first letter or initial letter. It's what you're trying to do by creating that is create the look that you want to apply to the very first letter at the beginning of the story. That's that character style. The second character style that you create is the diminuendo one. That's the look that you want to have applied to the next few words immediately following that big letter. Okay, so now we have two character styles made. Now you're going to go to a paragraph style in your box, and you're going to make two paragraph styles. The first one is the first paragraph. So title it first paragraph. In there, you go to drop caps and nested styles. And the drop cap, you're going to apply the character style called first letter. And then, so that's going to give it its look, but it doesn't say how deep it goes yet. And so you could have it drop in there 8 or 10 lines if you wanted. That's going to just simply make the letter bigger, bigger, bigger. On the other hand, if as a part of the character style, you made the size big already, you could make the initial cap not drop into the text. It's just simply a bigger letter that sits on the same baseline as everything else on that first line. So it's either called a drop cap or an initial cap. The initial cap doesn't drop into the text. The initial cap letter sits on the same baseline. So that's the little difference in the look there. And you can do either one, and it's controlled by the character style size and or how many lines deep you drop that letter. You can actually combine both. So when you create a letter that is the same point size as the story text, and you drop it 2 or 3 lines deep, then it's going to the cap height of that letter will be the same cap height as all of the rest of the letters that are there. On the other hand, if you make that initial letter larger in size and drop it in 3 lines deep, it'll drop 3 lines down, but it'll also sit up above the other text as well. So it all depends on the look that you want. Okay, so we've created 2 character styles. We've nested them or embedded them in the first paragraph style. Now we finally create the paragraph style that gets applied to the majority of the story. And that one we're just going to call story text or story paragraph. And when we open that one up, we can base it on the first paragraph style. So it will have the same leading, the same typeface, the same treatment of tracking or anything else that you've done since you're basing it on that look. And all that's fine, except I don't want every paragraph to have the first letter big and all that business. So I simply go to the drop caps nested option there in the story paragraph style and delete those things from it. Okay? Now, so now we've created styles, we've applied them. Now we just take a look at the result. If we're lucky, we like it right off the bat. But rarely does that happen because, unless it's something you've used before and you want to do it again. But rarely by applying it, it turns out right off the bat that it's something you want. But you look at it, and then you go back and open up the style that controls that look, move that control window a little to the right or left so that you can actually see the text, and make changes. And then you make sure the preview box is checked, of course. And then you can see the results in real time right in front of you, you know, and so you can make those little changes to dial it in on the look that you want. It's very easy at that point. It's a little cumbersome perhaps in the beginning setting it up, those first stages, but you just have to remember the order and what you're trying to do. So one more time, we are trying to create a version of diminuendo. That's the concept. Diminuendo is a visual gradual change in the importance, the importance of the type that you have on the page. We can change that level of importance by making things bigger and smaller, but that's not the only way. You know, we can change leading, we can change tracking, we can change size, we can change color, we can change the value of the color, we can change whether it's bold or light. All of this gets back into that typographic variable sheet I keep telling you about to look at. So try those different combinations to make things seem more or less important. Then, so that's the concept we're striving for. Then the next question is, well, okay, now how do I do that? And we do it by creating paragraph styles and character styles. Character styles are a look that we want just a single letter or a word to look like. And we apply it by highlighting that single word or words and then click on the style that we've made. For a paragraph style, we don't have to highlight. InDesign knows if you've hit the return key, or it interprets when you hit the return key that you are intending that the next text is a new paragraph. So all you have to do is be clicked. The text tool is blinking in a paragraph to be able to apply it to that paragraph. Again, it's because InDesign takes as its clue that it's going to apply whatever style you choose until there was a return key hit, you know, when you type the text in originally. And then that's a signal to InDesign to not apply it any further. And this is why you don't have to highlight. And in fact, you don't, it's not even that you don't have to, you don't want to, because you want to be able to see the result. And if you've got it highlighted, you won't be able to see these differences easily. All righty. Is anybody still confused on this issue? Because you could be. It's okay if you are. Let me know.
I'm getting it. I'm just gonna definitely have to work with it, like actually, you know, work in design and like practice.
Apply it.
But it doesn't seem super hard. Like very, very difficult.
Okay. Remember, I've recorded the last couple of our meetings. I'm recording this one.
Yeah.
So you can fast forward to the parts that you need. It'll be on the announcements page of our Canvas site.
Yeah.
Okay. How about, does anybody have something different for me? I know you do. So Lolly, how are you doing?
I'm so sorry. I'm just tired.
I know we're all a little low on energy.
It makes 0 sense. I think I just need to really sit down and focus and just look through all this and actually go through my thing and look through the the requirements just so I know what I need to do, and also so I can see what it is I'm actually doing wrong, like when I go into it, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, figure it out.
So you just said that made 0 sense. I thought I did a pretty darn good job there.
No, it's just, you know, I'm not a tech person, and this is, you know, I thought Illustrator was weird enough as it is, and then this is a whole nother ballpark now.
It is another ballgame, yes.
So, I just gotta sit down, pay attention, and just go through it, and just so I can go back and go through and see if I'm doing anything wrong that I already have, you know, gotten up. and then make the changes as needed.
Well, maybe go through it the way I did it with, fast forward to that section that I did with Melanie, because I did it pretty step by step there. I did with Jay as well, but I think if you go to the section there that I did it with Melanie, because we did a test version, that kind of thing. If you do that and stop it, then do it, stop it and do it, and see if that will work for you, okay? I am pretty darn confident you guys can all get this. You're all quite smart with this, with all sorts of things. You're all visual people. And I think there are two things that make it hard for us as visual people. One is that we're used to thinking that visual only means pictures. That's what we have a lot of experience of making. We've been drawing with crayons and pencils and cutting paper and doing that since we were little. We've been doing very, very, very little of working with letters and words. We might have done some things, but it's not equal. The reality is that graphic designers are always working with words, and they are occasionally also working with images. Well, this is totally backwards, right? It's the opposite of what we've had experience in. So we need to play rapid catch up in our ability to handle letters and words so that it's equal to our ability to handle images. And it's quite possible. We do it all the time. I mean, designers learn. You're not alone. Designers before you and designers after you will be faced with the same thing, because it's just the way it is. And there's nothing bad about that. It's just it's the nature of the way this works. Once you've got it, it is extremely rewarding, because it just opens up so much freedom to work with things visually. If you have a great illustration and put it in a layout, a composition, whether it's a book or a poster or anything, and the type is handled poorly, that's going to reflect on your illustration, which by itself might be quite good, but it won't be received well because the typography isn't handled well. So that's why we want to get an equal ability in both areas. And again, I'm pretty sure that it'll happen. I think actually, if we could take anything away from this weird situation that we're in, is it forced me to start using Canvas and Zoom. And I think a lot of other your teachers as well. But for me, I don't want to be teaching online, but I do think using this kind of thing where you can record and then you guys on your own, you can go back to them and look through them again. I think there's an advantage there that perhaps we didn't have before. So that's a good thing. But we would have it alongside us being also in class one-on-one in person, It wouldn't be the only way we're trying to learn this stuff. But I think you can take advantage of that part of what we're doing. And hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from you then is you kind of just need to slow it down, repeat it on your own time.
Yeah, I admit with this entire situation, it's been a little harder for me to actually sit down and pay attention. So with this, for me, I think I just need to go back like the next day or something, and just so I can actually sit down and focus. I have all the stories in. I'm just, as of right now, what I've done so far is I've got the font that I think I'm comfortable with, at least that that I'm not only comfortable with, but I think people will be able to actually read, keeping that in mind. I've been going in and just kind of taking it from like a writer's perspective and editing them so that like they're a little easier to read, since a lot of these are super long,
Yeah. Yes.
Following that rule of for example, the one that I've been using really to help with that, clean this up, is when to start a new paragraph. And so something like that, and just cleaning it through, just everything's easy to read.
Yeah, good. I love it. That's great. You said something else though that's also important, and that is by you guys tuning in on the Wednesday meetings, which aren't mandatory, that tells me you're serious about wanting to learn stuff. I applaud that. I think that that's a responsible thing to do. I think it's a good thing to do. It tells me you're making an effort. But what you said something about, I just feel like I, have trouble, how did you say it?
Paying attention.
Paying attention, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I have the same problem because of the situation we're in. I feel really anxious most of the day. I don't feel my normal, I normally think I'm kind of laid back kind of person. And I'm not feeling that lately. I feel anxious. I feel the stress of this business. And at first I was hearing people talk about that and I didn't really know what they were referring to. And I'm starting to feel it. And I don't like it. And so I know that you guys are under a version of that yourself because you're trying to finish out the school year strong. You all had really good first halves of this semester, and so this one is just bizarro. And how to, but you still have a desire to do well, and then we're doing it in such an oddball way that adds a lot of stress. And you have several, you have all your classes you always had before, so it's not just this class, and they're all final projects you're working on. That by itself in a normal situation in school adds some stress. So I really do understand that. And you got to believe me, I'm doing my best to try and not add to the stress, or at least present what we're doing in the least stressful way I can do. If there's any part of that you think would help, I am open to it. But I think you guys are going to do fine here. Look at the recordings, see if that's helpful. If you want to send me any pictures of things in progress, I'll try to respond to those. I got really behind in them since Monday's meeting because I was in meetings all day long yesterday, and didn't get to look at stuff. But the intention is that then I can just comment back in a sentence or two, perhaps, what you might show me. So that's another thing you could take advantage of. Does anybody else have a question for me about the assignment or part where you're at? Are you sure?
Well, and honestly, I get with the whole stress. I think, for me, I think I've been able to manage my stress a little better. And I think at this point, my problem's not stress. I think it's more just trying to set up what's the word? I think I need to set up a schedule so I can actually do everything in a timely manner,
Yeah, that's extremely important. I don't remember. I mentioned that. I tried to mention this to all of the classes earlier, but I may not have gotten everybody. So one of the most important things that you can do is establish a routine for yourself.
Yeah.
I'd use the word routine. Because otherwise, without that, I just want to stay in bed. I don't want to get up, and that's not good because that just makes things harder. So if you have a routine during the regular kind of year semester, and that if you follow that routine, even when we're not doing this business, that you do better. So it applies all the time. But I think in our current situation, it's even more important because you're stuck at home, So normally when you're at home, it might be because, you're on vacation or something like that. So that's the normal thing, it's all, I can do whatever I want most of the time, maybe not always, but I think that's general.
Yeah.
Well, you have to now make a routine for yourself. It's like, I need to get up every morning at a certain time. I need to go to bed at night at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
I need to eat
Exactly.
healthy. I need to drink a lot of water.
Yep.
I need to have vitamin C. You know, and I need to make time to get outside and walk around the block or whatever. You know, those kinds of things on a routine basis makes a big difference. I strongly encourage you guys to
For sure.
find whatever combination of that will work for you. I think that's an important thing. It can help us to keep our energy levels up, and it can help keep our ability to concentrate, you know, up. So that's a suggestion.
No, and I mean, you're very much right. I know, you know, with this entire thing, it's like my schedule has now gone a little out of place, so to speak. So it's like, you know, and it's even funnier, when I was younger, you know, I'd always been on a schedule. So, or I had gotten used to being on a schedule. So now it's like I need to get back into the habit of that now, you know, especially with all the work with the work that needs to get done and so forth.
That's a pretty responsible way to look at it. I think the other thing that we didn't say here, though, is a lot of times when we're, you know, either younger or at school, somebody else is creating the schedule for us. You know, I have a particular, at school, I have a schedule of when the cafeteria is open, when I go to class, you know, that kind of stuff. And at home, when I was younger, my parents or somebody, you know, created that routine for me and told me when we're doing whatever. And so I just followed it. And now it's in this limbo land where you have to pretty much make up that routine for yourself. And depending upon how many other people are also crowded into your house at the same time, and they're going through their version of this stress business and anxiety, and you can't escape one another, you know, and you want to be around them, they're your family, but still you're you know, everybody has to have a routine that works. And everybody else may not be going to school. So for you, trying to set that routine is going to be a different kind of routine than anybody else in the house, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, it's like, as you said, you know, I mean, others make it, but I think in my case, it's like, you know, I got so used to it that now I'm kind of like, I become one with it, so to speak, or I'd very much gotten used and was quite fine actually with the schedule. So now, you know, it's like, you know, as you said, you know, just now having to get myself together and just try and get back into that schedule, you know.
Yeah.
However,
Redefine
by
it.
any means, you know, possible.
Yeah, you have to redefine it. It's like redefining the paragraph.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm unsure. You guys aren't letting me see you today.
Well,
I don't know if you're there, or if this is making sense, or you've all gone to sleep, or you're all in another room and you've just left it on. Thank you.
oh, he is there. I was questioning.
I'm talking to my own self.
This is usually how it is in our art history. Everyone doesn't want to show their face.
How come?
Only to hide the fact that we're not paying attention.
Yeah, I know how that gets played. But then, you know, I never get to see all the cool backgrounds that Gavin's got going on, or, you know, we can't celebrate birthdays every day.
Oh my God.
Well, okay. I think I've run out of material for you today, unless you have a question. No?
I kind of do, but it's not about this class. It's kind of like about another project I'm working on.
Okay.
It's probably actually about that later.
Okay, hang on then. We can hang out for just a second longer.
Okay.
So does anybody else have a question or anything about our assignment? All righty, then I'm going to let you go.
Are we're still doing a cover, right, for this?
We are. Jay asked a question or comment early on that.
Yeah, I'm just double checking.
I may have misled us somehow here, but yes, we are making a cover. I want you to think of the cover like a dust jacket.
Okay.
Okay, and then we also have this half title page. So if we think of, well, I have the cover of the book, I open it up, and then I'm probably going to see I might see either the table of contents first, and then a half title page, and then the story begins. Each of those are new, I'm going to call them sections, and they all begin on a right-hand page. So if each of these things are quite, except for the story, each of those other things are quite possibly only one page long. So they're on a right-hand page. Therefore, when I turn the page, the left-hand page will be blank. An option for that left-hand page, however, is that it has an illustration on it or a graphic on it. But it doesn't have a story on it. The only time it would have any kind of story or text on it would be because there wasn't enough room on the page before it. Therefore, it continues on the back. Okay.
For the cover, is it gonna be like? Can it be similar to the one that we did in Type 2?
Yes.
With the whole author, well, not the author, but the editor.
Yes.
Okay.
Good question. So that assignment is to a certain degree to help you with this one, but not everybody has had Type 2.
No.
But if you have, yes, you can refer to that as something that will help you here. It is the same 5-panel layout. Okay, front, back, spine, inside flaps. That's where we get 5 panels.
For mine, I don't think I have much of a spine, so would that be okay?
Yeah, so we don't know how thick that spine is until we have all the stories formatted and everything. Depending upon your overall page size and the typeface size that you use, and of course the stories that you pick, everybody's book is going to be different thicknesses. So once we know what that is, that's when we determine the spine.
Is there like a, what do you call it, like a system or a format for how big it should be? Like I'm going to assume because it's a cover, wouldn't it be just a little bit bigger by a certain degree compared to like the actual book?
Yes, this is a simple answer. But to be honest with you, and again, when you have Type 2, you will understand this very easily. Jasmine can probably clue you in.
I wouldn't know. I haven't taken any typography classes yet.
But once you see it, when you see it on the screen, it looks like everything should fit together fine. You print it out and put it around the book, and it doesn't fit. And it's not for lack of trying to measure accurately. The reason is it points out the difference between seeing something on the screen that is going to become an object. And so when I put that cover around an object, the paper actually stretches, and there's some of that total length gets taken up by turning the corner around one page or one panel to the next. And it's very, very difficult to know how much that's going to be because there's so many variables. Every paper doesn't stretch to the same degree. Some papers are thicker or thinner, and also just made differently. So all that will affect the overall length that's needed. So what you do is you make a dummy of you don't even have to have anything on it yet, but just a piece of paper that's the same kind of paper that you're going to print the cover to, and wrap it around the book, and then mark where or measure where the corners are. Then those are the measurements you put in to your InDesign layout for the size of those panels. And it's just, it surprises me every single time because it seems like, hey, it can't be that much different. But it is. It can tell, like most of the, Jasmine can tell you this, and Gavin can tell you this, that most of the first versions of those dust covers are maybe a half to 3/4 of an inch too short. And it just doesn't seem possible. It makes you think like, well, I must have measured wrong. And no, they didn't measure wrong. They were very, careful. It's all about the this translation of what happens from on the screen to the cover. It is the easiest example I can give us for having that experience, that the measurements, you have to think about and measure from the object, because, and it happens in so many ways that what we look on the screen, it does not give us an accurate representation of what happens out here in the real world. Right. And that cover thing going around an actual book is a good example of it. We have other versions of that when we talk about the amount of gutter space for those inside margins, and I talked about paper creep and how the pages fold out and around, all that business. Well, we can talk about it abstractly here, but until you actually see it from something that you have created, it's hard to really understand how much of a difference it makes. So this is not a mistake. This is part of the process that we go through to get to the point of what the cover should be. So I would hold off on doing the cover right now.
Oh, sorry.
Because you don't know the size. You can have a general idea of what the size is, because let's say that you're making a letter half-size pages, so that means your pages are 5.5 inches wide. So right there is a total of 11 inches. And then let's just arbitrarily say that the spine is 3/4 of an inch. So now we've got 11 3/4 total length. And then we got flaps that are maybe 3 inches wide. So there's another 6. So now I've got 17 3/4 inches for the total length of my paper. The height is the same height as my page height. Okay, so that's my starting point. So I do that. I make my InDesign document that, what did I say, 17 3/4 inch wide, and I draw guides out there to mark where they fold, and I cut out a piece of paper that size, and I now put it around my stack of pages that are going to be the guts of the book, and see if it fits. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. But this again is a step in the process that tells me, oh, I need to make this spine that much bigger or that much smaller, whatever it needs to be. But we'll get to that point later. And to be honest with you, that step we might not really do until we can all be back together, because we need, unless you're going to be printing at home. And then those of you that might be printing and making the book at home, I think there's 2 or 3 of you perhaps. If that's the case, then yes, I'll walk you through those steps. And it's on our assignment page. Okay. Any other question about the assignment? Okay, so then those of you that don't need to hang out and ask me something specific, Gavin wants to do that, then I will talk to you all later. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye, guys. Have a
Adios.
good day.
Go to.
Night. Have a good night.
You too.
Same to you.